Hey there, YouTube. So today we're going to continue working on the old black bagger. I went ahead and put this head on and the rocker box on for the rear cylinder. I'm going to show you guys how to do the front one. One thing to note on this, so as you're tightening these down, you want to make sure you can still spin your push rod. At a point like right now, mine are kind of getting tight. What you're doing is you're bleeding down the lifter, because if not, and your pistons are up top, you'll actually push your valve into your piston and bend your valve. So avoid that, because then it's all pointless. You gotta do it all over again. So yeah, I'm just gonna dive on in. Here's the new dowel pins. So one thing to take note of on these MLS gaskets, they're held together by this little copper or brass rivet. On these cylinders, I'm not going to have a problem with it. It's off into the open, nothing's going to make contact, we're in good shape. On the Exto cylinders, these little tabs were actually hitting the mating surface, so they had to be cut off. If you buy a new set of gaskets, usually they come with some instructions, and the instructions will tell you that if they're hitting, go ahead and cut them. This set that I got right now that came with this kit do not say anything, but I know from past experience. In this situation, I do not have to cut them, so I'm not going to. Come on. There we go. Another important thing to remember is that there's two different size bolts for the heads. The long ones go in the front, short ones go in the rear. You really can't mix them up, but just something to take note of. Another thing to take note on is there is a torque sequence you're supposed to do with these heads. It's basically, it would be primary side front bolt, primary side back bolt, and then I think it is front bolt, back bolt. I'll have to double check. But you start out at, in this particular case, I'm following their instructions. It's 10 foot-pounds, 20 foot-pounds, 25 foot-pounds, 30 foot-pounds, 35 foot-pounds, and then 38's the finisher. Alright, that's 10. We'll go to 20. Now, if you're running Harley specs, they're a little different. So it all depends what head gasket you're running, what combination of performance parts you're running. If you're just doing stock stuff, you can easily find it in a book or on the internet. High performance stuff, try to follow what the manufacturers suggest. All right, that was 20. I'm gonna go to 25. All right, it's 25. I'm gonna go to 30. right, 35. And now 38. Alright, so the head's torqued. Now double check that your O-rings are in place. There's like a little washer. I don't even know if you guys can see that. Hold on. There we go. There's this little washer doodad that goes below the O-ring in the lifter blocks. So these bolts that are sticking out of the bottom here, it's kind of, I'm not positive if there's a set rule or not, but I'm Loctite in mine because I have such a big inch motor that vibrates a whole lot more. If you guys want to, it's up to you. I do just to be safe. Uh-oh, I forgot to start these. Oh, maybe I didn't. Okay, so this one went down pretty good because the cam lobes are back there in the rear cylinder. So I'm going to go ahead and torque this one real quick. This one we're going to have to work down in slow increments until it is all the way down and mated. Like right now this one is loose, so I can go ahead and tighten this a little bit. And now she's tight again, so I'm going to leave it. I might have mixed up these push rods. Because that should be touching. You know, usually I readjust the push rods every time. This time I was all confident that I had laid them out properly, and with how fast I'm getting back to it, I wasn't that worried. Now I'm getting worried. I might have to readjust them all just to be safe. We'll think about that. Well, I was gonna torque these properly, but couldn't find the old yeah, couldn't fit the torque wrench in there. Not gonna be able to fit it in back here, so close enough. These are supposed to go to about 10 to 13. Click. 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 Yeah, I'm definitely readjusting these. I think double 1/2 inch. So one thing I do on this motor in particular, because it's got such big valve spring retainers, I run a feeler gauge behind the valve spring retainer to the rocker box, make sure it's going to clear. I check all 4, make sure it's good. If it's not, I'll break everything free, shim it over a little bit. But yeah, that's just to be safe. Make sure you're not wearing out your valve guides and all that stuff. Bend a valve. I don't know, something. Make sure all your channels are clear. Or O-ring grooves. What have you? Well, I had bought new rubbers for these, but I don't like the way those were fitting. And to be honest, I think they were wrong. I think they're for a twin cam. Now that I'm looking at them, which I don't know how they got ordered wrong, but it happens. So I'm gonna run the old ones. They're just rubbers, not like they like a gasket surface that gets crushed. rocker box together, I don't know if you guys can even see. There you go. When putting the back rocker box together, you have to put the bolts on into the top half when you're setting it in there, or else you can't get the bolts in. They're too long. These front two wouldn't be a problem to put on later, but the back two are. I learned that the hard way the first time I put this bike together. And then this Allen wrench through these back ones in between the frame and the head, I actually cut down the Allen wrench maybe, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch. Just cut off the top of it a little bit so I can fit it in there. Alrighty, all that's knocked out. What next? So right now I'm just gonna run these up till it's a little snug, that way it don't fall out. And now I'll put the carburetor in place. I'll put the 2 bolts in it. You're way ahead of myself. I haven't even tightened the intake yet. I haven't put the exhaust on it. I don't know what I was thinking. My bad. While it's on my mind, before I forget again, I'm gonna go ahead and put the rear motor mount on. It's just 2 bolts that drop right through the top motor mount into the head, and there's an Allen bolt that comes from over here down into here. Okay, so at this point, we are lacking... Okay, so at this point, we're lacking exhaust, push rods, and then I'll put the spark plugs and all that back in. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna rotate the back wheel forward, get it to where the cam lobe is down. Both cam lobes are down. Then I'm gonna adjust the push rods. I think book is 100 thousandths. I'm gonna go 6 flats, which is 1 revolution on these, which it'll probably be a little looser, so a little less than 100 thousandths. Actually, I'm gonna look it up. Give me just a minute. I'll be right back. Hold on. I'll be back. All right, so I just looked up these push rods specifically, and it is 3 turns out. So I'll show you guys how to do that. Okay, so you spin the push rod down until there is... Oh, okay, hold on. We're a step away. I gotta rotate the wheel until everything is at the lowest point. Ugh. That didn't work. Alright, so I'm going to rotate the bike, I'm going to push the bike forward until the push rods are all the way down. The cam lobes anyway. It's going to be a little hard to do by myself. Alright, they're in the bottom all the way, so now it is turn it out until they're snug. Alright, I'm snug right there. So now I got 3 full turns that I gotta crank it. So I'm gonna put a wrench on the bottom. Maybe. Alright, I'm gonna put a wrench right there. Now I need one more wrench. Okay, now I'm gonna crank it 3 full turns. So I got the one flat facing me. That's one rotation. Two rotations. Three rotations. Now I'm going to bring the lock nut up and lock her down. Alright, that's locked down. That one's done. So I'm going to repeat that process on all of them, and we'll be good to go. Just pop the collar up, or the whatever this guy is, up into the rubber on top, and then take this little clip, grab your screwdriver, put it on top of the collar, push the spring-loaded collar down, pop right in. Normally when I do this, when I'm putting this bike back together, I clean everything on it. All the chrome meticulously, make it look real good. But this bike is absolutely filthy right now. So cleaning it really ain't gonna do me a lot of good, because I'm gonna go wash it and then it's just gonna be all dirty again. We have to pre-hand wipe everything. So I'm just gonna hand wipe it all once. So yeah, that's what it looks like I'm being lazy. So now I'm gonna put the front exhaust on. I'm gonna reuse the old exhaust gaskets because they weren't that old, and they're like a steel mesh, So as long as it seats back up pretty close to where it was, it'll seal just fine. Alright, so on that note, it does run. It's all back together. Woo! Not really. I gotta put gas tank bolts back in, put a floorboard on, air cleaner, seat, little simple stuff. I'm gonna take care of that off scenes. But it's almost there. Basically, I'm gonna start doing the break-in process, which is fire it up, let it warm up to operating temperatures, shut it off, let it cool back down to room temp, and then do that process 3 times. Once that's all said and done, it's basically take it easy for like the first 50 miles, do an oil change, take it easy for the next, I think it was 300 miles. And then basically do another oil change and good to go. So I'll keep you guys posted. As soon as weather breaks, a little bit nicer, I'll start breaking it in. Maybe do some burnouts for you. And yeah, if you guys liked the video, please like and subscribe. And I appreciate everything. And thanks. Have a good one.